Am I the jerk for telling my dad and his wife they are not entitled to a say in the decision-making of other adults, even if they raised those adults? My father, a 62-year-old male, and his wife Mary, a 59-year-old female, got married 16 years ago. Both were widowed with children. My father had me, a 10-year-old male then and a 26-year-old male now. My sister, an 8-year-old female then and a 24-year-old female now. And my other sister, a 7-year-old female then and a 23-year-old female now. Mary had Jess, a 9-year-old female then and a 25-year-old female now. Her son, a 6-year-old male then and a 22-year-old male now. And her other daughter, a 4-year-old female then and a 20-year-old female now. My father and Mary wanted to make a nuclear family and a more traditional family where Mary would stay at home, be the mom to all of us, and my father would be dad to all of us, work, and be the less involved in the day-to-day childcare parent. I never accepted Mary as my parent. I never called her mom. I resent her deeply for asking frequently when I was a child. Jess never accepted my father either. She feels the same about him that I do about Mary. My sisters call Mary Mama because they called our mother Mom. Jess's younger siblings just call my father Dad. Jess and I never considered us all a family. We both missed our late parents and would cause chaos by bringing them up sometimes to put the step-parent's spouse in their place and remind them that they weren't forgotten. I would do this with my father too, and I would remind him that my mother wasn't replaceable and her place in my life could never be filled by anyone else. I am now low contact with my father and Mary. Jess had a baby in the last 2 years. She named her daughter after her father. This upset my father and Mary. I found out about this a little over a month ago because my wife and I had a son, and his name was my mother's middle name, which she was known as by close friends and family. Mary was hurt that I honored one grandmother over the other. My father also told me I should have found some way to honor Mary, maybe using her maiden name, etc. They have not met my son and I did not reach out to them. They reached out to me. They told me Jess doing the same was such an intentional snub against our family and them as parents. Mary told me I should have reached out to her and checked if my decision was okay with her. I should have included her and my father in this. My father said the same. I pointed out they are hardly in my life anymore, which is how I prefer it, so I would never include them. I ignored calls and texts for a few more weeks until Friday. Mary told me this was not how someone treats their mother. I responded that she was never my mother. She was never my real mother, who died when I was still a child. I told her, claiming she was part of what made me so distant from them. They both decided to FaceTime me that night and told me I made such a big and hurtful decision without discussing it with them. They said how Jess had done the same and they rambled on like that. I told them they are not entitled to a say in the decision-making of adults even if they raise them. I told them Jess and I do not need their permission and clearly we do not care what they want. I was called rude, entitled, and ungrateful for having such loving parents. Am I the asshole? They are major ass for expecting their kids to just forget about their dead parents so they can play happy family. This fixation of some non-parents on being accepted and respected as actual parents is staggeringly disrespectful of the kids' autonomy, agency, and feelings. Ugh, you are not in the wrong at all. Good for you for going low contact. Am I the jerk for not immediately telling my friend what our friend said about her? At work, I, 29 years old, had a group of friends, and we were all very loyal to each other and cared about each other's feelings. I went out with 2 friends I used to work with and another colleague, C, who I still work with but am not really friends with outside of chatting at work sometimes. Neither C nor I were drinking as we were driving, but the 2 other women were. C mentioned something about my good friend at work, B, saying she had bad body odor, and one of the women agreed. Both said it in a nasty way. I was shocked as I had never noticed it before, and was very annoyed that they were saying nasty things about her at all, especially to me since they knew I was good friends with her. Later, one of the women reminded me that I was very defensive of B and kept defending her. I was talking with the other woman about how I felt so bad for B because she has such a bad body image already, and how she should not, because she is very pretty and has a nice personality. I felt I needed to tell B, as I would want to know if people were saying such things about me, especially if it is something that can be easily fixed. When I went to work on Monday, I saw B's best friend at work, E, and told her what happened. My main concern was how B would react, as I was worried she would spiral about her appearance. We both wondered how to say it to B in the nicest and most helpful way. I suggested bringing her to dinner and gently explaining what C said, emphasizing that we were telling her because it is something I would want to know. I also mentioned that I have had problems with sweating a lot, so I know good deodorant to use. I saw E again on Wednesday and we talked about it again. She said her mother suggested we do not say it to B because we had never noticed a body odor problem with her. I said that since I knew about it, I could not tell her. Then he mentioned saying to B that C was talking bad behind her back. I thought that was already a given, considering I had mentioned telling B what C said. My main concern was how B would react and feel. I was off work the next day, then on Friday, B and I had the same shift. We had lunch together, and I felt she was in a good mindset. I was going to tell her what C had said in a kind way, but I did not because I felt that since I had involved E, I should wait to say it with her or at least consult her. I went home from work and saw on Instagram that B and E were at dinner. Then B left our group chat saying she was sure we would find out why soon. I sent her a message asking why, and she said E told her what C said and that I was basically trying to protect him, and now she is done with me. E never spoke to me since then, so I do not know how she came to that conclusion. I was never not going to tell B what C said. I was never close to him and only sometimes talked to him at work. Am I the asshole for not immediately telling my friend what her friend had said? You are the jerk here, OP, for making this story way too confusing to follow. It's just alphabet soup. If possible, a direct message to B clarifying your intentions might help clear things up. Also, addressing E about any misunderstandings could prevent further drama. Am I the jerk for refusing to pay my ex $180 for a tattoo they got me? My ex-girlfriend and I went to Chicago in May, and both decided that we wanted to get tattoos while we were there. I was paying for all the dinners on the vacation, so I asked her if she would be okay with paying for the tattoos, since she had always been pretty fair with splitting expenses, and she said yes. They wound up being $160 for hers and $180 for mine after tips. I asked her if that was still okay despite it being a little more than we expected and told her that I would give her some money towards them if she wanted, but she said that it was fine. Fast forward a month and we broke up. We were in the middle of no contact, and I saw her at a social event one night with her friends while I was standing in line for an attraction. Once she noticed I was there, she came over with her friends positioned right next to me in what seemed to be a move to make their presence known. I walked away and continued my night. That same evening, she sent me a random Cash App at 3:30 in the morning captioned, "For the tattoo I paid for." I assumed she was probably drunk and having drunk person logic on the ex contacting thing, and was not really in the mood for it. So I wrote out a quick cordial message for my friend to send her asking her to refrain from doing those things. She read it, and we went back to no contact. One day went by fine, but the day after I was sitting at the library reading when I got a random text from her mother asking me to kindly accept the Cash App for the tattoo she had sent the night before. Like I said, I didn't even think it was a real request and that she would actually think I would accept it, but apparently she did. I explained to her mother that I viewed the tattoo as a gift, and if every gift we exchanged was expected to be reimbursed, then that was just silly. She disagreed and said I should have brought more money and paid for the tattoo myself, knowing how expensive they are, and that it was immature that I was refusing to pay the money to her daughter for it. I explained to her again that I would have paid or contributed to it in the moment if I was asked, but I didn't see the need to be paying for something that was offered and bought a month ago and wouldn't have had to be paid back if we stayed together. She again said it was immature, but I just said whatever and backed off the conversation. So what do you all think? Am I the asshole? You are not the cause of this issue. You two were in the habit of sharing expenses, and she volunteered to pay for the tattoo. Meals in Chicago aren't cheap, so it's not like you owe her anything. Your ex and her mother are just harassing you because she's upset about the breakup. Block their numbers and move on. Am I the jerk for refusing to give up the family dog? My husband, who is 27 years old, has told me that he no longer wants to keep one of our family dogs. We first got this dog from my husband's mother when he was around 16 weeks old. She found him and two of his siblings on the side of the road. He is now around 18 months old. We took him in to ease her load. Since then, his brother was put down due to aggression, and his sister got hit by a car. All three dogs were destructive and reserved around humans. Luckily, we spent much time with our dog and got him to trust us. We got a DNA test done, and the results showed that he is a mutt. He has every sort of breed in him you could imagine, including German Shepherd, Pit Bull, Bulldog, Australian Shepherd, and even Chow. Part of me has wondered if he is too much of a mixed breed to train correctly and has poor genetics. This dog is my husband's dog. Even though it was a joint decision to bring him into the family, he bonded with my husband. Their relationship has been strained recently as we have moved house and become homeowners. Our dog is high energy. He cannot sit still ever and has even put a significant dent in our living room wall. We have 2 young children. He is never aggressive towards them, but he constantly knocks them down, jumps on them, and scratches them. This dog also loves to chew on everything. He has destroyed countless toys, clothing items, Xbox controllers, and remotes. He has also started to chew on our deck and destroy the outside furniture and the hose. We try to redirect him, but he does not care. We have bought him stimulating toys and many sniffer treats, but he destroys everything we buy him. We spent over $2,000 on training for him, and even after months, much progress has yet to be made. Our yard is not fenced, but he is hooked up to a long leash to move while outside alone. He likes to dig holes and has been digging into our foundations over the last few weeks. It has caused the deck's wood to crack, and he is chipping away at the concrete. He has also tried to dig up our neighbor's fence, and we have had to fill it in numerous times. My husband no longer wants to keep him. He feels like we have tried everything we can afford to do to correct him. He worries he will cost us more money in the future, and we will not be able to repair whatever he breaks. He is also concerned that he will accidentally hurt the kids. From my perspective, I feel guilty knowing that we took him in as our responsibility, and now we are giving up on him. I feel bad for the kids, who will be sad if he goes. I never felt connected too much to this dog, but I still view him as a part of this family, and a part of me struggles with the idea of not having him around. My husband now believes I am picking the dog over his happiness, as he continually feels financially stressed about what the dog will do next. He is the only one who works. I am a student. Am I the asshole for not wanting to give him up? A tied-up dog that is chipping away at concrete is not a mentally well dog. It sounds bored with too much energy. High-energy dogs need real outlets for their energy, like long walks, hikes, or high aerobic activities. Tying a dog up in the yard doesn't cut it and can be considered mental abuse. It's time to find a home that best suits its needs. Am I the jerk for telling my cousin that she looked terrible when inviting her to meet my friends? My cousin and I are really close. We take family very seriously, and I care about her a lot. Her dad passed away about a week and a half ago, and it's been really hard on everyone, especially her, I'm sure. We spend a lot of time together. My cousin does not have many friends of her own, so I usually invite her to hang out with my group of friends. We are all home from college and decided to throw a little party to make her feel better. My friends are coming, and we were making her favorite food and bought an ice cream cake, which is her favorite. We were also going to watch a movie that she loves together. But the thing is, 12 of my friends would be there, and they always look amazing. Their hair is always done, their nails are always done, etc. My cousin does not usually try with her looks, but I was still shocked when I picked her up and she looked horrible. Her hair had not been brushed. She was wearing an oversized shirt with no khaki pants, and her legs were not even shaved. She wore no makeup. Yes, she normally looks like that at our house, but we were going out to see my friends and I was so embarrassed. I told her that she looks awful and that she should go change. She said these are all the clothes she has and that everything else needs to be washed. I told her she should at least use makeup. She said she did not bring her makeup with her. She is staying at our house for a while because of what happened with her dad. I asked, annoyed, why she did not bring her makeup. I was not thinking. I was just annoyed and embarrassed for her that she was going out like that. But she got mad at me. She snapped at me, because my dad died and I came to stay with you and forgot to bring my makeup. Holy fuck. She was actually pissed, and I was stunned. It did not hit me when I asked that her dad died, and that's why she did not bring it. She came to our house immediately after with her mom, because her mom was a mess. I told her that I was not trying to be rude, that I just felt embarrassed she was going out like that. I told her she could borrow my makeup, but I was not thrilled about it because it's kinda gross, but I offered it because she was upset. Instead, she just said she was not going with me anyway and went back to our house. She has not spoken a word to me since, even though we are in the same house. I am pretending the whole thing did not happen because I do not think it's a huge deal, but I decided to post here and see. Am I the asshole? You have some responsibility here. Instead of being supportive of her, you made it all about yourself and how she'll make you look. The fact that you tried to throw a party to make her feel better but instead just put her down is achechi. If you wanted her to feel better, you should have gone to her house with some snacks, ice cream, and watched some movies together. Am I the jerk for expecting my partner to, sometimes, put me ahead of their friends? I've been dating someone for the last few months, and it's been good but sometimes frustrating when they cancel our dates. This happens a lot because of their job, but also because they seem to keep putting their friends ahead of me. A few weeks ago, they said they couldn't meet because they were busy. When I asked about it the next day, they told me that they were having a drink with a friend of a friend who I don't even like because that person was in town and was too shy to go out alone. It wasn't even their first time visiting the city, so I don't know why my partner had to be the chaperone. Then last week they canceled because they had to go IKEA shopping with their best friend, who my partner said needs me because they don't trust anyone else's taste. The worst happened yesterday. We had plans to meet up for lunch and agreed on it well in advance, confirmed again the day before. I also texted them in the morning to say how excited I was, and again an hour before to share the address again. I never heard back. Then I got to the restaurant, called them 3 times in the space of 15 minutes, and eventually got a quick text saying, I can talk. One of my best friends had his brother pass away last night. Obviously, I was not expecting my partner to just ditch their friend at such a difficult time. But I was still upset that they couldn't take 10 seconds to respond to me and cancel our plans so that I didn't rearrange my day, go all the way to a restaurant and feel like an idiot for being stood up. I know that people don't think clearly when there is a crisis or a tragedy, but the fact that I didn't even occur to them makes me wonder if I'm as important to them as they are to me. I don't know. The whole thing is a mess, and I'm not sure if I'm being unreasonable to expect someone who says they want to date me exclusively to at least keep me in mind more than they do. This doesn't even get into the fact that they spend more time updating their Instagram profile and stories than they do responding to my texts. Any perspectives would be appreciated. Thank you. You did nothing improper. It really sounds like they're just not that interested in spending time with you and don't have the guts to admit it. You're asking for the bare minimum, and your partner isn't able to meet those basic requirements. Bailing on you for their friends constantly is not okay, and their lack of communication is a big issue. You deserve someone who values your time and relationship, not someone who makes you feel like an afterthought. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.